the 4 buntlins.
Sails like a witch, Mr. Baines.
Ah, the prettiest witch I ever did see, sir.
Can't wait to see the look on Callan's face when we come into Liverpool.
And a proud sight for your wife, sir.
3 months. Our first long party.
Long, you say? 2 years, I'd call long, sir.
Not much honey in being a sailor's wife.
Bargain indeed. Your own chair at your own fireside, James. Sounded so simple. Talking to yourself again, I don't need him.
James's new clipper is sighted. Then I'll invite myself in. Albert arrived home with the news, and I hastened to tell you. I knew you'd want to be there on the quay.
Oh, yes, indeed. James's second trip in a clipper, no less. Never forgive me if I was to miss his moment of triumph. Yes, I snap at everyone, not just you. I count the days he's away. 85, and I'm already talking to myself.
And I was the one that wouldn't make a sailor's wife.
I've missed him, Elizabeth. Much more than I thought I would. If I'd not had the new house to keep me occupied.
Albert ought to see it now. He remarked how dismal it was the day you moved in.
I hope James approves.
I doubt if James approves of anything that doesn't look like a cabin or a forecastle. You've bought another chair.
For James. I thought it a bargain, but one of the arms came off. What with the cost of linen, carpets and hangings, I've little enough left to spend on furniture. How is Albert?
He used to talk of nothing but steamships. Now it's the baby.
Stain from the bedroom floorboards and now glue. I must wash and change my dress, or James will take one look at me and sail away for another 3 months.
Anne, I've made up my mind. I must tell Albert.
About the baby? That Daniel Fogarty's the father?
Yes.
Albert must never know the truth, you said last time we spoke of it.
I've changed my mind.
And I must change my dress.
He's been so good to me, Anne. Eternally fussing over me and looking after me. Of late, I can't even look him in the eyes. My only fear is now that I'll lose him. You see, I think I love him. I have to tell him. Do you think me foolish?
Where you're concerned, Elizabeth, I've given up thinking. Now, I must change, or I'll not be there on the quay. I thought I'd wear my wedding dress.
For James's homecoming?
Yes, it's had little enough wear. Now I'm wife to a schooner and a clipper. I can't be seen on the quayside in this old rag.
Now he's home. You and James must come and dine with us.
It's no use, Elizabeth. You cannot expect me to tell him.
It would make it so much easier if you were present.
You insisted on marrying Albert. You must be the one to tell him. Oh, answer it, would you please, Elizabeth?
Yes?
I was looking for Miss Anne Webster.
Miss Anne Webb? Oh, yes, of course. Won't you come in, please?
Thank you.
Do sit down.
Thank you.
Who was it?
Who shall I say?
Mr. Adams.
It's Mr. Adams.
Who?
Mr. Adams.
I'll not be wrong.
She's coming.
Thank you.
It's rather cold for the time of year.
Yes, it is. Ah, the old town hasn't changed a great deal, the little I've seen of it.
You've not been to Liverpool for some time, then?
4 years.
You're a sailor?
Yes. And no. That is, I sailed as a foretopman to Valparaiso 4 years ago.
Is your home in Liverpool?
It was. My mother died since I left. My father sold the house and emigrated to Australia. We docked this morning. I went to Captain Webster's old house.
He sold it?
Yes, the people there told me Anne was living here now.
Are you related?
Oh, no. Anne and I have known each other since we were children.
You can't be expected to know, but she's no longer Anne Webster.
Oh.
Anne was wed to James Onedin 6 months ago. James is my brother. He's a ship owner. He's just acquired a new clipper and arrives today from Lisbon. Oh, she's coming. Michael.
My sister's waiting on the key, sir, so if there's nothing more...
Yeah, that'll be all, Mr. Baines.
You know, I would think no one told her we were sighted, sir.
Yeah.
Mrs. Onedin, sir.
My wife's got more to do than twiddle her thumbs on the quayside, Mr. Baines.
Yes, sir.
And you said, oh, no, we don't.
I said, no, we go this way. And we ended up completely lost. Oh, trust Michael Adams. Everything I do, something always goes awry.
How long will you be staying in Liverpool?
I hadn't really thought about it. I don't even know where I shall be staying yet.
Oh, Mrs. Webb, 3 doors along, takes in lodgers.
Mrs. Webb, thank you.
Would you care for some more stew?
No, thank you. 2 bowls. You haven't changed, you know.
4 years.
You haven't. Not one bit.
You didn't write to me.
And I didn't return on the start of morn from Valparaiso as I promised I would. Are you not going to ask me why I didn't come back?
Is there need for me to ask?
Anne?
James!
Oh, I thought to see you at the quayside.
Oh, James, this is Michael. Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams used to live no more than a stone's throw from our old house.
Captain Webster and my father were lifelong friends.
You might remember Michael's father, James. Joshua Adams. He was a fisherman.
Adams? No, I don't recall.
He emigrated to Australia.
I'm intruding. Thank you for your hospitality, Mrs. Onedin. The stew was excellent. Best I've tasted since I left Liverpool. Glad to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Onedin. Good day to you.
Mrs. Webb, 3 doors along.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mrs. Onedin. Please don't bother. I can see myself out.
You're looking well, James.
So do you, Anne. This Mr. Adams, I don't recall you mentioning his name to me before.
No, I've not had occasion to speak of him.
Has he been here often?
For the first time today, ship docked this morning. It's 4 years since he sailed.
4 years? Long voyage.
His first voyage, on the Star of Morn to Valparaiso. The ship returned 4 months later.
But he didn't come home with her?
No.
Why not?
I took it for granted that when he returned, we would... What's wrong with me? Nothing was settled. I've no prospects, Anne. You've your father to take care of. So many times he'd said that. He couldn't bring himself to tell me in so many words he never intended us to marry. It seemed so absurd, watching him sail away on the Star of Morn. Michael, a sailor. When he didn't come back, I'd no need to ask why.
I find it strange you never mentioned this man to me before.
Oh, when should I have told you? In the little time we've spent together since our marriage, when you've not been away at sea, when have we talked of anything but your ships and your cargoes, our profits and our losses?
3 months I'm away, and you're not even on the quayside to greet me.
I'm sorry I wasn't there to see your new clipper, James.
Oh, damn me, new clipper. I've a right to expect a welcome from my wife when I get home.
I've missed you, James. I bought that chair. Your own chair at your own fireside, James. One of the arms came off, so I repaired it this morning. I've also repaired the latch on the back door. My hands, it's the stain from the floorboards. Oh, Michael's forgotten his pipe.
Mrs. Webb, did you say?
Yes, one of her lodgers moved out on Saturday, and as Michael had nowhere to sleep. Well, there's no need. You call back for it.
Save him the trouble.
Yes. I thought her a fine and virtuous lady. Your new clipper, the Pampero.
I wish I owned her entirely.
Senor Braganza has a half share, eh?
He's entitled to half the profits of all our cargoes.
Ah, so that's the reason for your preoccupation. This, Michael Adams.
Yes, what about him?
Well, you've mentioned him 5 or 6 times and then changed the subject.
You commissioned to build this floating kettle?
No, I'm not. I'm saving it for you, Onedin.
I can find my way to bankruptcy without the help of this smoke pot. The golden nugget, eh? Well, she's rightly named. She cost me a gold field in fuel alone.
James, I'm so glad to see you here. Anne promised you'd both come and dine with us before you sail. Albert, tell him he must come.
No, forgive me, Elizabeth, but I'm too busy. I've got cargo to load, crews to sign articles, eternal bills to be paid. And that's another thing. Not content with finding the fellow lodgings across the street, she's gone and lent him £2.
Michael Adams, you mean?
Yeah. Playing on her good nature. Next thing you know, he'll be knocking at the door every 5 minutes.
And you sail in the morning. As always, your main problem is purely financial.
Anne says you're sailing to the Cape Verde Islands.
Aye, to the coaling station at Sao Vicente. Another cargo of fuel for one of your smoke-belching ladies.
So there is a profit in steamships after all.
Aye, for sailing ships.
How long shall you be away, James?
Oh, I can't tell. I must find some cargo from some port or other for home.
You must dine with us tonight, James, please.
No, forgive me, Elizabeth. Good day to you, Fraser.
Onedin? Oh, do not fret, me love. He shall come next time he's at home. Now, come and sit down.
Don't fuss over me, Albert.
Here we are. There. One for you. One for my son.
You're so sure of that? What if it's a girl?
If it's a girl, she must look the very image of you, my love. Otherwise, I'll ask for our money back. Oh, I'm so happy.
James, it was so rude of him to walk out the moment I came in.
You must excuse James. The man's not himself.
Indeed. And why not?
You know, if you ask me, he's in the grip of the green-eyed monster.
That's a new dress you're wearing, isn't it? It becomes you. That smells good. Well, my crew signed articles today. Tom Grantley's coming with us.
Tom Grantley? I thought you were one of Callan's men.
He was. One of his best carpenters. Nothing but the best with a Pampero.
You're in cheerful spirits today, James?
I'll have a right to be.
Yes, you're sailing.
With the profits of our last voyage, we've not only paid off the mortgage on the Charlotte roads, but on the warehouse. We now own every brick and sail.
I wore this the day you came home.
Aye, so you did. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. Michael Adams signed articles today. Well, fella's short of money. Thought he might be looking for a ship. So I sent Bales along to his lodging, signed him up as foretop.
James? I want to come with you.
Adams? Michael Adams? Well, you're the last
You do not
person-
know me, George Bethel. We have never met.
Are we loaded, Mr. Baines?
The trimmers are just spreading the last of the coal, sir.
That coal's damp, you know.
Yes, sir.
We'll see to it that it's well ventilated or we risk fire or explosion.
You're sailing with us?
Yes.
I'll take this.
3 first voyage apprentices. All opium become second mates before their beers begin sprouting.
They're paying good money for their education, Mr. Baines.
Oh, they're full of book learning. But they don't know a knot from a hitch or a gasket from a buntline, sir.
I remember standing there on the quayside with you. Your father was sailing, and your mother was there, and you've...
I'll take that. Adams,
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Mr. Baines.
on deck, Adams. Shut up.
Hope you find this voyage interesting, ma'am.
Not as interesting as our first voyage together, I hope, Mr. Baines. Well, here I am. No more counting the days and talking to myself. Something troubling you, James?
Nothing troubling me.
One of the apprentices wants to speak to you, sir. William Green.
I'll see him later.
It's about the payment of his premium, sir.
All right, Baines. I'll see him now.
Down here, lad. Come on, jump it.
William Green, sir.
I'm not hungry, lad. Shan't bite you if you stand a bit closer to the table. And it's not the Royal Navy. We don't lean backwards to stand upright.
My mother signed my indenture for a 4-year period of apprenticeship with the Onedin Line, sir. But at the time of signing, I didn't have sufficient money to pay the amount required, sir.
Well, £50 is a considerable amount. Your father is to be congratulated on finding such a sum for your education.
My father was killed in the Crimean War, sir.
Oh.
Royal Navy, sir. But it was always his intention I should serve an apprenticeship, sir.
Uh-huh. So he left this money for your education, eh?
No, sir. My mum's been saving, sir. She works as a cook in the orphan asylum.
Money for his ships. Does the man think of nothing else?
Well, put the money on the table, lad.
My mother wishes to convey her apologies for any inconvenience she may have caused you, sir.
Inconvenience?
I can't serve with this voyage as apprentice, sir.
You mean you haven't got the money?
No, sir. And I understand that I can't serve before paying the proper sum required.
How much money has your mother saved, then?
£32 and 8 shillings, sir.
Well, £32, 8 shillings had left to be then, won't it?
Thank you, sir. The money's with my mother, sir.
Well, then, go and get it. Look sharp. We sail in a half hour.
Yes, sir.
Take such soundings twice a day. Tell us how much water we're in.
A carpenter's duty. Don't ask me why.
Still shaky aloft. Memories of Bucko Roberts, eh?
Now we shall see how much water we're taking in.
The ship's leaking.
All ships leak, lad. No pumps, man, for the best part of a voyage. Back-breaking work it is too, Billy, lad. Now, this measure shall show us the worst. Good news for your back, Billy. Hardly enough to bath a baby in. Right, Billy, lad. Up the weather side, over all the forebantings.
Yes, sir. Nice soft watch, that. You must have been living easy these last 4 years. Did you marry her then? You know, the girl you used to talk of. Never stopped talking of.
Hey, Mr. Bethel, that was a good watch.
You wait till you're aloft in a squall, Billy. Then you won't find it so good, eh, Bill? That's his stomach. And it's calm as a mill pond.
But I thought Mr. Adams was 4 years at sea.
Oh, I doubt it, son. I was with him aboard the Star of Morn on his first voyage. I reckon that was enough for you, Mr. Adams.
Your voyage, was it?
Now you get off with your boy. Mr. Baines catches you in the forecastle, it's us who'll get the benefit of his tongue.
I said you weren't suited for a life at sea, but you would go.
I tried my hand at so many trades. I'd failed in all of them.
And that was your only reason for sailing on the Star of Morn?
What other reason could I have had for leaving you?
But I thought you didn't come back. I thought you never intended coming back.
Never intended? Is that what you believed when the Star of Morn returned without me?
Well, what else was I to believe? Why didn't you come back?
You deserved a better man than I.
And I deserve a better reason than that.
Ah, you're right. I'm not that generous-natured. I would never willingly have given you up for any man. And I did not come back because I'm a wanted man. That's why I signed on this ship. It would have been dangerous to stay in Liverpool any longer.
What? For what?
That first voyage to Valparaiso, the mate, Bucko Roberts. I think it's better that we no longer talk together.
Why did you come back now?
Did you ask?
Come in.
You courser?
Come on. Still southwest by south, Mr. Man.
Nice. About Michael Adams, sir.
What about him?
Oh, I've no complaints. He works for the will, but if he's been 4 years at sea, as you say...
I didn't. He said.
Well, then he must be slow to learn. Before he tackles a job, he has to ask or watch the next man. Twice today he's been hanging over the side looking for his stomach. And when he's up aloft, well, at times I can hardly bear to watch him, sir.
So Michael Adams falls and breaks his neck. Anything else, Mr. Baines? Ah, speak, old man.
Well, sir, you know what the folks is like, sir.
I should do. I've spent half my life in it.
Well, you know how the crew talk, sir. They don't mean it unkindly, just laughing and joking, we know, but... well, it's your wife and Michael Adams, sir.
My wife and Michael Adams grew up together. Their fathers were lifelong friends, Mr. Baines.
So as was that.
Another thing I learnt in the forecastle, Mr. Baines.
Yes, sir?
Cure for idle tongues is busy hands. I've been looking about me this morning. Foot ropes need repairing, deck needs only stoning.
Yes, sir.
You know I can't abide a slack ship. She might be a Geordie collie for this trip, but she needn't look like one.
You tired, Mr. Adams? Yeah, well, aren't we all? And who's to blame, I wonder? Baines was decent enough till 3 days ago, and he suddenly turns into another Bucko Roberts. Not that anyone could ever be as bad as Bucko Roberts now, could they? You remember the foul things he used to say about that lady love of yours? What had happened to her while you was away at sea? Ah, not Baines to blame, no. I've got a feeling it's the captain who's really cracking the whip. He's sweating salt water. Now, I wonder why. Speaking of that lady love of yours in Liverpool, what happened to her anyway? Why didn't you marry her? That must have been like Bucko Roberts said, eh? Yeah. Thought you'd have learned your lesson with Bucko. Now he has to go and bring the mate and the captain down on us, larking about with his wife. Yeah, get this murderer off me! Ah! Madman, you are.
You call me a murderer again, and I shall be one. because of you I'm a wanted man.
Wanted man?
The five of you remained silent when Captain Howland accused me. You all knew me to be innocent, and you said not one word in my defence.
Wanted man? You mean to say you never found out? You're jesting. I mean, 4 years. You must have learned somehow.
Learned what?
Because you were green. It was your first voyage.
And my master swore that long before Bucko Roberts was murdered.
Yeah, I don't blame you. One voyage with a mate like Bucko Roberts is enough to drive any man to a life behind the plough. But when you say murdered, you know as well as I do it was an accident. And I reckon Captain Howland knew it too. Yeah, that's why Captain Howland entered it in the log as lost overboard.
Lost overboard?
Not the first time it's happened now, is it? Not that you'd know that, being green. These matters are never talked of naturally. Silence is golden, as they say.
Lost overboard.
All hands on deck, I said!
Oh, I mustn't keep Mr. Baines waiting. We'll have a sight more trouble on our hands.
As you say, Captain Howland, just ignore what happened.
Well, Captain Howland never found out what happened. Never wanted to. All captains care about is their ship and their cargo. It was flesh and bones to them, eh? One more man less to crew their ship. That's enough worry for them without going into the whys and wherefores.
Bucko Roberts was murdered.
That's harsh words.
I saw it happen.
Then you know it wasn't intended. Teach him a lesson, that's all. Taste of his own medicine. Why you had to kick up such a fuss? You had reason to hate him more than any of us.
4 years. Believing myself a wanted man.
You shouldn't have run for it.
Captain Howland accused me. And you, the five of you said nothing.
Because we said nothing. Silence. Captains expect it. Keep your mouth shut and you know what the outcome will be. You'd have known too if you hadn't jumped ship in fear of your life.
Ethel Adams!
So there it is, eh? All over and done with. You're a free man now. That's all that matters, eh?
Adams, you deaf man? If you want trouble, Adams, you come to the right man for it.
A free man. Now I am. You've been free these last 4 years and had no right to be.
Forget it, man. It's all over and done with.
Ethel, lend a hand there!
Your father has cut you off.
You were not listening, me love. I've resigned my position in the shipyard.
You mean you didn't want to wait for your father?
I mean nothing of the kind.
Is it because of me?
Don't ever put that thought into your head. Mother adores you, as I do.
But your father did have someone else in mind.
Oh, knowing father, yes. He may well have been hoping for the merger of shipyards, but I wanted a marriage, not a twin launching ceremony.
How can you be so light-hearted about it?
Why should I not be? The burden's been lifted from his shoulders at last.
Burden?
All those thousands of square yards of sail. My heart wasn't in it, never was. Now I feel as if I've shrugged off the past, I can devote all my energies to the future.
To steamships.
I know. You are no more convinced of the marvelous possibilities of steam-driven ships than James is. So it's up to me to prove their worth. One day, people will wonder how the world ever got along without them.
Lost overboard, did you say?
That's what Captain Howland entered in the log, sir. You know how these things are, sir. But with respect, sir, all captains care about is their cargo. I mean, we, the crew, we're just pairs of hands. If there's suddenly one pair less, well, that's problem enough for you, sir. We quite understand the worries you have on your mind, sir, without dragging yourself through courts of law and the
Now,
like.
this mate, Bucko Roberts, how did he die?
His head was stove in with a belaying pin.
By Adams?
Yes, sir. See, Bucko Roberts give us all hell that voyage, sir, but he seemed to have a particular knife into Adams from the minute he come aboard. Adams being polite and better spoken than the rest of us. Well, Bucko knew Adams was nervous and kept sending him aloft, for no good reason very often. Then there was this girl what Adams was always talking about. See, Bucko took a particular delight in telling Adams what happened to sailors' girls while they was away at sea. And not in the usual joking sort of way, sir, but using all the foulest language...
Bethel, why are you telling me all this?
Well, like I said, sir, Adams has got it into his head that me and 4 others of the crew killed Bucko Roberts. Now, he's writing a true account, as he calls it, and wants me to sign it.
Well, then why don't you?
Oh, I'd rather not put my name to such an account, sir.
Why not, if it'll pacify this madman?
The matter's finished with. Captain Allen took care of it, and Adams won't let it rest.
Oh, Bethel, I'm master of a ship, not a penny school. Yes! What do you want?
The carpenter's found 2 for the water, sir. He reckons she's sprung for it.
Oh, thanks. Go and see what it's all about, will you? And get the pumps manned.
Aye, sir. Come on, Bethel, my lad. You've got a strong back.
Baines.
There.
So is Adams.
Yes, sir.
Billy, I'm pleased with your progress. You learn fast. Well, cut along.
Sir.
4 years believing himself to be a wanted man.
No one to blame but himself. Shouldn't have jumped ship.
He was wrongly accused. Surely that was plain enough. Michael is innocent.
They're all innocent. Now, that matter was settled 4 years ago, Anne.
Settled? That mate was murdered.
He was washed overboard.
Captain Howland deliberately closed his eyes to a brutal killing.
Of a brutal man.
I can only condemn that captain's action. Are you saying you condone it?
I said not a word.
Oh, Michael. 4 years, 4 wasted years. And in spite of that, he still wants to see justice done.
Is it justice he wants seen done? Or revenge?
If you believe that, why put Michael and Bethel to work together? Shouldn't you be trying to keep them apart?
Do not interfere in ship's business, Anne.
But knowing how Michael must feel.
A couple of hours on the downturn pump and you'll feel nothing but his aching back.
James? James? Did you want me to come with you?
Come with me.
Would you rather I'd stayed at home?
Oh, you woke me up to ask me that.
It's important to me, James. Don't you know why I came? I missed you. I began talking to myself. But you've said not one kindly word to me since I came aboard. I might as well have stayed at home. At least I could have had a civil conversation with myself.
So, Michael Adams sailed away on the Star of Moon because he didn't want to marry you, eh?
I'm sorry, James. That's what I thought. Truly I did.
You were wrong.
Yes, James, I was wrong.
4 years believing himself a wanted man. It was vexing to know if he'd learnt the truth, but 6 months earlier...
6 months?
Aye, 6 months we've been married. You'd not been so desperate to get yourself a husband.
And you not so desperate to secure the Charlotte Roads at any cost?
No, I wasn't discussing it. Adams, it's too late. You're married to me. And you'll not use my ship to humiliate me with him.
Humiliate? You have no intention of
I
humiliating
forbid you to speak
you.
to the man. Let me say it, won't you? But I will not.
Say what?
That I'm jealous of the man. Now, you go to sleep.
What's happened?
Oh, blasted lumbering trimmers! Bastard, coal-shifted!
You won't come up the cargo shifted.
All right, Baines. All hands below to trim that coal.
Go ahead, lads, and car. We've told the ship.
Not us, George
All
Bethel.
hands on
We've
deck.
got the backs left for shoveling and we've more important business to attend to.
There you go, and shovel like the devil behind you. Another shift like that will be on our beam ends.
I, George Bethel, do hereby declare that on the day of the 4th of November 1859, aboard the Star of Morn docked in Valparaiso, together with four other members of the crew named below, did attack and unwittingly kill the mate, William Roberts. Michael Adams tried to prevent us in our attack and was rendered unconscious. Michael Adams was found with the body of William Roberts and was wrongly accused of the murder by the captain, John Paul Howland. That is the truth, Anne. Will you witness?
Here, do you think I'm going to put my name to that?
It is the truth, and you will sign it.
We didn't intend to kill him, man.
Unwillingly. I've written that, and now you will sign.
Look, the matter's finished with. It's over. Why bring it all to light again?
You will sign!
Michael! Michael!
Now you listen to me, Adams. I've been patient with you. Very patient.
You'll come down below and sign that paper.
Now don't you push me too far, you madman.
But I end up like Bucko Roberts. Is that it? You didn't intend to kill Bucko. Teach him a lesson. Taste of his own medicine, you said. And who struck the blow that killed the man? You turned better.
No!
You're awake early, my love? 5 o'clock?
I couldn't sleep.
Oh, you're cold.
I went to bed too early last night.
Shame. I brought something for you. I came in shouting surprise, and you were fast asleep. Do you want to see it?
Albert, you wanted to marry me. You did want to.
Of course I wanted to. Well, here, my love, what is it? You're trembling.
I told you I didn't want to marry Daniel Fogarty.
And I believed you. Should I not have done?
I love you, Albert. I haven't told you before because I didn't think it true. I've had so many false reasons, excuses rather, to suit my own actions. I thought that one false as well. And maybe it is. No doubt I'm only telling you I love you in the vain hope that...
In the vain hope that what?
that I may not lose you.
Lose me? Whatever put that thought into your head?
Albert.
Oh, calm yourself, my love. You've nothing to fear. I already know what you're going to tell me.
No.
That you still loved Daniel Fogarty, and you married me. No, I don't care why you married me instead of Daniel Fogarty. I'm too selfish, my love. I have you. That's all that matters. Now, let's see what it is, shall we? I saw it in the shop and I thought, Elizabeth should see it first. She may not like it. I couldn't resist it. I had to buy it. Lose me. You shall never lose me, Elizabeth. Never.
It is no false thought. I do love you, Albert.
Our mighty big shift at Wasser. We're still a ton of more to move.
Here, Billy. Give us that shawl.
Yes, sir.
your mother should see you now, Billy.
Ah, she'll never believe me when I tell her I've been shoveling coal on a sailing ship.
I would praise and appreciate that. Where's Adam?
On the pump with George Buffalo, so I thought, sir.
Send them both to my cabin.
Aye, sir. Pails of water, Billy, and we'll wash off this black devil's dust.
Must have shifted 60 tons or more. Something wrong?
You were at the helm, you must have seen.
Seen what?
Michael tried to force him to sign that paper.
So, what happened?
George Bethel went over the side. They were fighting. Michael hit him.
Being a stoker on one of those monstrous kettles. Living in the smell of that filth day in, day out.
James, what are you going to do?
You?
About Michael?
And don't interfere in ship's business.
It was an accident. Michael didn't intend the man to drown.
Bethel didn't intend to kill Bucko Roberts.
I reproved you for condoning that captain's action.
Now you'd have me do the same. Turn a blind eye to a criminal act.
But you will not. This righteousness of yours is new to me, James.
I've a wife for a tutor. You cared for him?
Yes, I did.
And still do?
How can I answer such a question?
Well, because I've a right to know.
I'd forgotten Michael. I thought I had. Then when he suddenly appeared like that, it's only natural I should recall the feelings I once had. It's unfair of you to ask me such a question.
Well, I think not, sir.
What is it you want? Some platitude for your satisfaction? Very well, then. It's all in the past. It's all forgotten. There.
I don't know what Anna's told you.
Adams, the next time you make calls, all hands on deck, you'll attend.
I want you to know the truth.
Oh, I've already learnt it from my wife. So, you struck George Bethel and he went over the side, eh?
Yes.
Right. The cargo shifted. Bad list of port. Last time you saw George Bethel, he was pumping with you.
Last time he was seen by the others,
Yes, you, Adams. You were shoveling coal with the rest of us, as I remember it.
I was shoveling coal?
Just after 8 bells, it would be. Dark. I saw nothing. I was at the wheel. Did you see anything, Anne? Did you see what happened to George Bethel?
Well?
Oh. Man was obviously exhausted. Washed overboard. Shall enter it so in the ship's log. Lost overboard.
No, I struck him.
No, on deck, Adams, and sharp.
I caused that man to drown.
Yes, you'd have us all drowned, would you? For it's still flooding now. Go on, get to the pumps.
I was responsible for George Bethel's death.
Oh, this is the man that you'd have married. Such a burning desire for justice. You'd be a cinder by now. What do you want me to do? Clap your nine so you can sleep for the rest of the voyage?
Bethel was right. Your only concern is for your cargo and your ship.
And yours to shuffle your feet in front of some fat, sleek judge who knows nothing about the sea or the men who sail them. You think Bucko Roberts a novelty? I sailed under a man like that when I was little older than Billy. The pain and indignities that I suffered under that man's hands. My only hope of relief was for one of the crew to see him over the side one dark night. A few more years and the strength of my shoulders, and I'd have seen to it myself and called that justice. 4 wasted years, and I itch to waste another 7. Or maybe hang. Just look on that voyage and on this one. You might consider that justice of a kind has been done. If it is justice you want. If it's punishment, you'll find more of that on the Downton pump than hanging in chains.
I said you deserved a better man than I. And you found him.
We have to see you wash behind your ears, Billy, as we'll have your mother after us.
Being a sailor's wife is not as simple as I thought, at home or at sea. But I'm learning, James.